1 billion lions versus every Pokemon. 1 billion SpongeBobs versus Goku. And most recently, 100 men versus one adult silverback gorilla. All these debates pose the question of what would win, brute force through sheer numbers or less numbers, maybe even one individual, but much more concentrated power. Now, I'm not here to provide an answer to that question, but instead pose a brand new question. Instead of 100 men versus one gorilla, how about 100 stand users versus one gorilla? Actually, no, scratch that. Let's switch it up. One stand user versus 100 gorillas. Fight to the death. Yeah, it's more like it. All right, now let's lay down some ground rules. This legendary battle deserves to take place somewhere legendary, and no place is quite as legendary as Prime Tilted Towers. Since we're mainly focusing on the stands, and the stand user doesn't really matter as much, let's just say the stand user is let me see here.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier.
All the gorillas are adult male silverback gorillas, and they're pissed. So pissed, in fact, that they have all gained the ability to know exactly where you are and will always pursue you, kind of like the immortal snap. Despite this, they all have the intelligence of a regular gorilla, so we're not going to be seeing them pull off any advanced gorilla tactics. Now lastly, of course, the gorillas do have the ability to see and interact with stands. Also, for the sake of entertainment, I'm going to try to avoid OP stands and instead talk about the top 5 stands that I think could beat the gorillas using a more creative or strategic approach. Make sure to stay to the end because the last one will blow your mind. Can't believe I just said that. Should probably blow my own mind with a gun. Now without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so when I was looking for stands that I could make an argument for, I realized that like pretty much 90% of the stands are going to be useless because they either aren't physically strong enough or are just single target stands. With that said, however, wait, but I thought Survivor was the worst stand. Dio said so. Yeah, well, Dio's a big liar, and he's not invited to my birthday party. Sorry, excuse my foul language. Anywho, Survivor's main shtick is that it makes people angry. So angry that they will ignore their own health and well-being to fight anything around them. Because of this, Survivor completely negates the gorilla's ability to pursue you. Because now instead of being pissed at you, all the gorillas are going to be pissed at each other. Now if you just hide until they're done fighting, all you have to do is deal with one severely wounded gorilla. Sounds easy enough, right? Wrong, because this was flawed from the beginning. Did you really think it would be that easy? I mean, you probably didn't because Survivor is the worst stand and all, but I digress. In order for Survivor to even activate in the first place, it needs water to create a path for an electric current to travel on to get to the gorilla's brains and make them all angry. Now, unless you somehow use the plumbing of Tilted Towers to create a situation where Survivor could work, you still have to deal with the fact that you, as the stand user, are not immune to the effects of Survivor, and you'll probably just get roped into the fighting unintentionally. Maybe it really is the worst stand. Anywho, time to move on. Weather Report is a stand from Part 6 that allows the user to control the weather by manipulating the surrounding atmosphere. Pretty simple, right? Well, in its fully realized form, Part 6 spoilers ahead, it unlocks an ability called Heavy Weather that alters the refraction of the sun's rays to manifest rainbows that send a subliminal metamorphosis effect, turning anybody, excluding the stand user, who sees the rainbows into a bunch of snails. Man, how does Rocky come up with this? What's next? A stand that uses explosive spinning lines to create invisible bubbles that go beyond the limits of physics and don't even exist in this world. Anywho, the plan here is to turn all the gorillas into snails. Also, Weatherport has good close range fighting capabilities to begin with, so I think it'll have no problem dealing with a bunch of snails. Arguably one of the best crowd control stands out there, Green Day is a stand from Part 5 which spreads its deadly mold spores across an area. And whenever somebody's altitude decreases, the mold will grow and consume them at a rapid rate. Additionally, the mold spreads from corpse to corpse, increasing its range exponentially. Remember, we're in freaking Tilted Towers. Just plop yourself down into that one overpass, and when the gorillas rush towards you, their altitude will drop rapidly, the mold will consume them, and they'll be toast. Also, if things get really dicey, we've seen Green Day's user, Chocolata, dismember himself and safely put himself back together. I can't think of any context where you would want to use this, but I think it's safe to say that this would be an easy win against the gorillas regardless. Green Grass of Home is a stand from Part 6 belonging to the green baby, and it shrinks any person who approaches the user proportionally as they get closer and closer. Now, assuming that this ability also works on gorillas, it won't take long before all the gorillas approaching you will be the size of ants. And with Green Grass of Home towering over them in comparison, it'll make quick work of them. Even if they go unnoticed, if they keep approaching you, they'll eventually reach a vanishing point and straight up be wiped from existence. Sounds pretty foolproof, right? Well, there is one catch. In the case of the green baby, we saw that approaching the target reverses the shrinking effect, and the target will return to its original size. So as long as you don't approach the gorillas yourself, this is another easy win. Now wait, please don't skip ahead, please. There's just a couple stands I want to talk about that seem like they might have a decent chance, and I definitely thought about including them, but they all face the issue of survivability. So yeah, Purple Haze may have some of the best crowd control in the series with its deadly virus, but it takes 30 seconds for the virus to fully infect a person, and I'm sure it'll take even longer to infect a gorilla. Not to mention Fugu isn't even immune to his own virus, so you're just gonna get swarmed by a bunch of half-infected gorillas and end up dying to your own virus.
Okay, next one, please.
I can see an argument being made for Ozone Baby from Part 8 because it definitely has some good crowd control with this deadly pressure manipulation, although it would fail due to the same reasons as Purple Haze: setup time and friendly fire.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next one.
Now, I already know some of you are probably thinking of Notorious B.I.G., but for the stand to even do anything, you first have to die, and that means you'll lose the fight by default. Now finally, the number one stand. Drum roll, please.
You never see it coming.
Yeah, this one should be no surprise. Although I tried staying away from OP stands that would easily win just based on pure hacks. I've been alluding to the theme of pursuit throughout this whole video, so if you didn't expect to see one review here, I don't know what to say to you. Like, I literally don't know. Why didn't I finish writing a sentence? Wonder View is an automatic stand that harnesses the natural law of calamity and uses it to protect the user from anyone trying to pursue them or their identity. This will make you practically...
Are you sure?
Untouchable against the gorillas. You don't even have to do anything, really. As long as the gorillas pursue you, they will be faced with calamity and die. Or will they? I mean, will calamity really be enough? In Chapter 90 of Jojolian, Josuke declares out loud that he will pursue the head doctor alone, trying to see if he can focus the calamity on himself and away from his buddy Rai, this fella right here. Of course it works, because Josuke is my goat, but the point I'm trying to make here is that Wonder View scales the intensity of calamity with the intensity of pursuit. Even if it's as simple as saying something out loud, it caused ordinary raindrops to shoot through Josuke's body, severely wounding him to the point of passing out. In the case of the gorillas, their intense pursuit and hostility will just translate into more calamity being directed their way. So yeah, I think you can just leave things to calamity and you'll win this one no problem. Anywho, this is a different style of video than what I normally make, but it was a load of fun, and if this video gets a good amount of likes, I'll definitely do more like this in the future. So if you want to see that, make sure to leave a like and please subscribe!